Hey everyone, Beano Nintendo here, and ever since Pokemon Trainer first made their way into Smash, I've heard people posit the idea of a second trainer character who has a different set of Pokemon to fight with. I've seen concepts for Cynthia, Giovanni, main characters from other regions, and even a generic Rocket Grunt, which is all well and good. I definitely think that there's more potential for the 3 fighters in 1 concept than just the generic Gen 1 Pokemon trainer. And I am a fan of Pokemon, so I wouldn't mind seeing a few more monsters make their way in. But to me, the idea of making the second ever 3-in-1 fighter just another Pokemon trainer seems like a huge missed opportunity. Smash has 10 Pokemon in it already, so why not give another franchise some love? A lot of people have suggested a rework of Young Link that uses masks for transformations, which is a nice idea for if Smash ever decides to radically rework any veteran fighters, but I'd rather focus on an all-new fighter, and if we're gonna come up with a fighter that uses Pokemon Trainer as a basis, I think it's only natural to look to other monster taming franchises that can add in their own unique twists based on their home series mechanics. For instance, you could have a Monster Sanctuary character focused on field skills and multi-hit combos, a Digimon Adventure character focused on Digivolution, a Digimon Tamers character focused on Digimodify, a Digimon Frontier character that can switch between human and beast forms. There's a lot of potential for Digimon characters in Smash, okay? But no, honestly, I think that the best fit for the role would be Kayleigh, the first partner you meet in the incredible open-world indie title, Cassette Beasts. Like Pokemon Trainer before her, Kayleigh uses her down special to switch between 3 different monsters. Only, she doesn't just stand in the background while her monsters fight for her. She actually transforms into them through the use of a magical cassette player and a few different cassette tapes. In addition to the standard Smash Bros. Damage percentages that they all share, each monster has their own separate health bar indicated with tape icons on Kayleigh's HUD, and if one is knocked out, Kayleigh will be stuck in human form for a second while she picks the next one to transform into. Her human form is light and weak, and has a much more limited moveset, so you'll want to pick quickly. If all of her monsters are knocked out, you'll be stuck in human form until her tapes recover. All forms can still be KO'd traditionally though, regardless of how high their health bars are. The 3 monsters are Sirenade, Malchemy, and Capricorpse, the first of which is Kayleigh's signature monster, who she'll have automatically equipped when she joins your party, but the latter 2 are potential evolutions for the game's starters. Kayleigh's actually the one to give you your starter at the beginning of the game, so I thought it would be fitting to give her evolutions of the monsters on those tapes. Since Kayleigh is basically 3.5 characters in one, I'm not going to cover every single one of her moves that each form can use, but I will highlight their stats, specials, and general playstyles. There are some moves that all 4 forms share, mostly based around Cassette Beasts' field skills. They all have Smack as a basic attack, Bulletino Dash as a running attack, Mothwing Glide as an up special, Electromagnetism as a tether grab, and Jumpkin Vine Ball as a spot dodge. Human form Kayleigh also gets Jumpkin Vine Ball as a rolling down tilt and as a dropping down air, which are the only moves unique to that form, although she can also use Smack and Bulletino Dash while in the air, which other forms can't do on account of already having dedicated aerials. I know I just listed off a bunch of move names without really explaining any of them, but most of them work the way you'd expect them to based on the footage I'm showing, and I will go into more detail on that up special in a bit. Sirenade is the fastest of a bunch and is incredibly light, with an emphasis on aerial combat. Most of her smash and aerial attacks involve flapping her wings to shoot a blast of air to push opponents back, but her tilts largely rely on her microphone-shaped tail. Her forward smash is based on Metal Riff, with her letting out large sound waves from the speakers on her wings, doing a lot of field damage. Her neutral special is Sonic Boom, which creates a burst of wind around her that can damage opponents on all sides and pushes them back a bit. If charged before release, it becomes Hurricane, which has a larger range, deals more damage, and pushes foes back even more. Her side special is Air Wall, which sacrifices 20% of her tape's HP and contributes 10% to Kayleigh's overall damage percentage, to create a tornado in front of Sirenade that can absorb up to 3 hits or 25% damage before disappearing. Since this only covers Sirenade's front, opponents can still attack from the back to deal full damage, but the nice thing about the Air Wall is that it'll stay in front of Kayleigh even if she switches to a different tape. So you can start as Sirenade, whip up an Air Wall, and then switch to a different beast to stay protected at full tape health. Speaking of switching out, let's switch over to Malchemy, who, as a middle evolution, has middling stats all around and serves the Zoner or Trickster role. Most of Malchemy's aerials and tilts involve her vial in some way, either lobbing it at opponents directly or shaking it up like a bottle of soda to blast opponents with fizzy goop. A few moves do make use of aspects of her anatomy though, like her down tilt, which is a crouching headbutt with sweet spots on her horns. Her down smash drops her vial at her feet, releasing mounds of purple goo that hit on both sides as a reference to her pustule bomb attack. Her side smash has her drink from her vial and then release a powerful burp. Her neutral special, Bon Bon Blast, is a pretty basic projectile that can be angled in any direction with a control stick. It can also stick to opponents. Normally this doesn't do much, but if an opponent rushes by someone else while the Bon Bon is attached, they'll become temporarily stuck together and take damage when trying to pull apart. The Bon Bon also sticks to surfaces, and if a player walks there, they'll be trapped for a second or two. Trapping opponents like this is meant to mimic Bon Bon Blast's evasion lowering effect. Her side special, Trick, has her lob a present at an opponent. Once the present hits them, it won't do damage, but will rather inflict a random status effect. These status effects are the usual smash variety, changing an opponent's size, slowing them down, putting them to sleep, making them take damage over time via flower, sapping their health, and in rare instances, freezing them or breaking their shield. Unlike in Cassette Beasts proper, the smash version of Trick will fail if the opponent already has one of these status afflictions, so you can't just keep stacking debuffs forever. Finally, we have the only final evolution in this bunch, Capricorpse, who serves the classic heavyweight archetype of being super slow and mostly relying on close range attacks that hit like a truck. Her tilts and aerials largely involve stomping, headbutting, and kicking up little bits of rock and dirt. Her neutral air is based on Sandstorm, with a weak stream of sand circling her body as she falls. Her up smash pops her tombstone up in the air like toast from a toaster. Her down smash is based on a combination of her mountain smash and crumble attacks, with her stomping down her front legs to create a small mountain on either side that crumbles instantly. Her side smash is based on shield bash, having her charge forward with a shield appearing in front of her. This attack does more damage when her shield is full. Her neutral special is Coal Story, which fires a scorching lump of coal upward from her stony back. The lump of coal works a lot like Steve's magma block, as once it hits a target, it will stay locked in the air with a multi-hit flame attack until the coal burns out and crumbles. If it fails to hit a target on the way up, it will just fall downward in an arc, getting less hot as it falls and therefore dealing less damage and losing its burn effect. Her side special is Battering Ram, which is a chargeable dash attack similar to Ike's side special, but with Capricorpse using its head instead of a sword. This move does a lot of shield damage upon impact, and can break shields if opponents are dumb enough to activate the shield button with Capricorpse coming towards them. This is meant to simulate battering ram's accuracy load effect, since attacks can't hit if you're in a helpless state. Both Malchemy and Capricorpse have references to the other paths of their evolution lines within their movesets. Malchemy's up smash gives her Gumball's head and neck for a stretchy upwards headbutt, and a few of Capricorpse's attacks temporarily give her pieces of Ramtasm's anatomy, like her wings for a back air and her wispy tail for a down air. I like the idea of temporarily manifesting bits and pieces of another monster's anatomy for certain moves, as that's basically how field abilities work in Cassette Beasts. Speaking of which, let's finally circle back to Kayleigh's up special. Mothwing Glide has the same basic function for all characters. It creates a gust of wind beneath their feet and pushes them upwards, and they can glide down slowly with moth wings. However, its usefulness really depends on which character you pick. Sirenade gets a ton of lift from this move, while Capricorpse gets barely any. Malchemy and Kayleigh's human form are both somewhere in the middle. Kayleigh's taunts work a little differently than you'd expect, as each of her different forms only has one unique taunt mapped to up on the D-pad, like in Smash 64 and Melee. Her down and side taunts both transform her back into human form, and both have a bit of utility as well. Her side taunt has her pull out her tape recorder, sending out a radio wave. If that wave hits an enemy, there's a chance that she can record their data onto a tape. If the recording is successful, a tape logo will appear in the middle of the screen, which can block enemy vision, similar to the Nintendog's Assist Trophy. If this happens, Kayleigh will enthusiastically say, "Got it!" If the recording fails, she'll give a dismissive, "Sorry." If Kirby swallows Kayleigh in human form, this is the ability he'll get. Otherwise, he'll just get the neutral special of whatever form Kayleigh is currently in. Kayleigh's down taunt has her use a pencil or respool to mend a broken tape. This will restore HP to one of her monster forms, usually the one most recently used, but she will always prioritize tapes that are completely out of HP first. If all of her tapes are full on HP already, she'll only twist a pencil for a normal taunt length. Otherwise, she'll gradually turn until a tape's HP is full or the taunt is cancelled or interrupted. Given the importance of this move, it's also mapped to shield special for online play. Kayleigh's dedicated human form taunt has her put her hands in her pocket and say, "Brilliant!" with a big smile, which makes for the perfect taunt to use sarcastically when your opponent has just done something stupid. Brilliant! Sirenade's dedicated taunt has her swaying back and forth in the air while music notes float over her head. Malchemy's is very traditional, with her beckoning the opponent to come over before pulling her eyelid down and sticking out her tongue, which is a reference to the move called Taunt. Capricorpse has her turn floaty and translucent for a split second, before becoming grounded again, as a reference to the move Haunt. Before I cover Kayleigh's final smash, let's quickly talk about her on-screen appearance and series icon. The former has her fall to the stage as multicolored lines shoot up around her, as a reference to Cassette Beasts' intro sequence. The latter is a cassette tape, because no duh. Kayleigh's final smash always involves fusing with another partner character and using their fusion power technique. As Sirenade, she'll fuse with Eugene as Clocksley, which is a reference to the early game, with Eugene being the second partner players unlock right after Kayleigh. As Malchemy, she'll fuse with Meredith in her Kiddaly form. There were several mid-game partners I could have chosen from for this, but Meredith was my personal romance option for the first Cassette Beasts playthrough, so I'm picking her for this. Finally, Capricorpse fuses with Barkley as Bootleg Pom Bomb, with Barkley being the last partner most players encountered, and Pom Bomb being a pseudo-mascot for Cassette Beasts. I figured that this was only appropriate. Kayleigh's victory theme is the same song that plays when players unlock a new field skill, get a new partner, get a new key item, or beat a ranger captain. Her victory screens are treated a lot like her taunts, as Kayleigh has one unique screen for each form, plus a bonus one for if you end the match with a final smash. Regardless of which form wins the match, the announcer will still shout, "Kayleigh!" Because, unlike with Pokemon Trainer, you're still controlling her directly, regardless of transformation. Her human form victory screen has her strum a chord on her acoustic guitar. Sirenade's victory screen has her dash in super fast from off screen and then flap her wings to fly off camera once again. Malchemy's has her shake up a vial which explodes into a fizzy soda blast aimed directly at the camera. Capricorpse's has her kick back and then charge towards the camera like a bull. If a final smash ended the match, she'll get a special victory screen showing her grabbing coffee at Gramophone Cafe with whatever character she fused with. Her human form costumes are mostly based off of these partner characters as well, and her monster forms are all given different colors based on the coding moves that change a monster's typing. Obviously, her first costume's her default appearance, and all of her monsters have their default appearance too. But her Player 2 costume is based off of Eugene. Her monsters have the plastic coating colors in reference to Eugene's Clocksley. Her third costume is based on Meredith. Her monsters all have the electric coating colors in reference to Meredith's Kayleigh. Her Player 4 costume is based off of Felix, and her monsters will all have the plant coating colors in reference to Felix's Brushroom. Player 5 is based off of Viola. Her monsters have the water coating colors in reference to Viola's Spirouette. Player 6 is based off of Barkley, and her monsters will all have the ice coating colors in reference to Barkley's bootleg Pom Bomb. Player 7 is not based on a partner character, but rather on Dorian, an important character in Kayleigh's dedicated quest, I Ran So Far Away. Her monsters will all have the astral coating colors in reference to Magicrab and the general dark and mysterious nature of Archangels. Finally, her Player 8 costume is based on Lena, the main character of Bitten Studios' previous game, Lena's Inception. Her monsters will all have glitter coating colors in reference to this being sort of a hidden type and Lena being a hidden boss. Some of the aforementioned partner characters also appear at a campfire in the background of Kayleigh's home stage, New World Park. Other cameo characters include the Magicrab in front of Gloucester Road Station, and Ianthe and Captain Wallace in front of the Ranger Outpost. Not content with being mere background elements though, Carniviper, Dominoth, Squirey, Springheel, and Puppercut can all appear on the stage as hazards. The final things to cover are Kayleigh's Classic Mode route and Spirit Battles. The former of which covers characters with some sort of transformation gimmick, like Pyramithra with their standard down special transformation, Corrin with their ability to morph different parts of their body, and Sephiroth growing one wing in the middle of battle. A few of the characters I've made movesets for already also fit this archetype, so let's throw in Agumon and Deoxys too, for good measure. Now, contrary to what Pokemon does for its Spirit Battles, where they all represent the Pokemon themselves and none of them represent the trainers, the Cassette Beasts Spirit Board is all human characters with two exceptions. Although a lot of the battles themselves reference the monsters that they transform into. First we have Eugene, who fights as Link in Costume 4, favoring Neutral B on Dracula's Castle. Then we have Felix, who is represented by an Inkling in Costume 4, favoring Forward Smash with Mushroom items on high on the Pictochat 2 stage. Then we have Meredith, who is represented by Pikachu with Thunderbolt items on high at the Tomodachi Life stage, because it's the closest stage that there is to a shopping mall, Coconut Mall Stage 1. Viola is represented by Corin in costume 6 on the pirate ship stage. Barkley is represented by Duck Hunt with Freezies on high on the summit stage. Sunny is represented by Zombie with slow movement on Delfino Plaza. Ianth and Wilma are represented by Giant Metal Bowser and Giant Sirenade at New World Park. Captain Wallace is represented by Builder Mario and a Steve favoring neutral special on the Mario Bros stage. Kuneko is represented by Incineroar in his purple costume with heavy winds turned on at New World Park. And then finally, we have Morgante, represented by Giant Metal Palutena on the Mementos stage. And there you go, that's my concept for Kayleigh and Smash, which I made with the goal of showing some of Cassette Beasts' unique features from Pokemon, like its capture mechanics, health system, partners, and fusions. Although, obviously, I couldn't get into everything that makes Cassette Beasts unique and interesting in a Smash Bros. Moveset video. Still, if you're curious to hear more, I've been thinking about doing a video about the themes of the game and what they've meant to me during a difficult period in my life. So, if you're interested in that, comment to let me know and subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. And with all that being said, this is Beano Nintendo, signing off.